Hey everyone, welcome to The Linen Service. I'm Mikai McDermott, creator, historian, and founder of this space for ambitious women building intentional lives and careers. Today's episode is a solo one, just you and I. A little while ago, I put a Q&A on my Instagram story asking, what do you want to hear from me? And something that came up over and over again was personal style. I felt it was surface level. I was like, what do you mean? You want me to talk about my personal style? The more that I sat with the question, the more I realized that you weren't asking me about what to wear. It was about feeling confident enough to show up as your full self, how to use style as a tool for expression and as a representation of your identity or where you are mentally. So not just, this is my capsule wardrobe. In this episode, we're talking about the deeper layers of personal style, not just shopping or trends, but the psychology, the cultural pressure, and the internal shifts that shape how we actually are able to show up visually. Because clothes reflect how we feel, what we're navigating, and sometimes who or what we're trying to protect. So it's important to think about and speak about self-presentation, visibility, and what it means to dress like who you're becoming and not just someone who's trying to fit in or conform. There are so many invisible rules that dictate how we dress, and you're taught to edit yourself visually in so many different ways. I wrote a longer article about this on my Substack, which was about hair. It was about wearing your natural hair and the symbolism of it, and how I think wearing wigs have come to mean something completely different compared to 10 years ago. When I think of styling myself and styling my hair, a lot of it is about how other people perceive me. And if wearing a certain style will communicate something about my socioeconomic standing, about my personal values, my political beliefs, which many times those things are put onto your hair, whether you like it or not. And that same thinking applies to your clothes. There's so many common true style blockers. I can't think of a better way to name that. There are so many ways that being judged, shame, class, respectability, your online perception, those things all infiltrate what we choose to put on in the morning. And in the question of, Mikai, how did you find your personal style? I think it's come at the end of maybe 10 years of trying to figure out my place in life. I'm a naturally melancholic person. I've always been more subdued than outgoing, and I spent a lot of time in my own inner world trying to think about what made me who I was, like a lot of complex existential crisis level questions. And it meant that, one, I was no fun to be around. I was so serious, and there was just no need to be that serious, first of all. And the second thing was also, I didn't really have the chance to just wear what I wanted because I wanted to wear it. There always had to be some sort of meaning behind what I put on. And I'm glad that I've been able to depart from that in some ways, but in others, it still very much is a ruling factor in why I wear what I wear. Now we are entering this great right-wing shift, like this global political shift to the right. And we're seeing this mirrored in the rise of conservative fashion. Like, this is a thing that is well known. Loads of people make content about it on TikTok. But what I think here is if you're choosing to dress in this way because you believe it communicates that you are old money, or you come from wealth, or you come from a certain status, it will always fall short because it's not an accurate and true representation of you. And the group that you try to replicate, they have their own internal norms and values and intricacies of how they interact, which mean you will never be able to replicate that. You will never be able to, your value system will never be the same. So how could you try to accurately copy or represent a meaning or a group that you have no access to, therefore you will never understand how they interact with each other. So that's what I think on the whole, like, dressing conservative. I mean, I'm sitting here with a lace bra and a V-neck, so I also just don't want to wear that. So that's also a thing. When I was younger, I used to read a lot about how we would present ourselves. This was mostly sociological theory, and Goffman has a theory called self-presentation, and it essentially says that we curate versions of ourselves based on our audience. But when does this performance become suppression? Are you dressing to be safe, to feel safe, or are you dressing to be the truest example or picture of yourself? And my dressing, honestly, when I started learning that to be successful, there's a part of you that has to be more corporate. You can't be the full creative that you are, because you will be interacting with people on a daily basis who are just from different walks of life. And a lot of your job is to interact with people from different walks of life. So when I started going to more meetings, when I was doing more intense brand things or behind the scenes business to business things, I knew that what I wore would dictate what the other person thought of me and how much money I would be able to get or how seriously they would take my project. And this filtered all the way down to my makeup choices, whether I would wear false eyelashes or not, whether I would wear hoops or not. And when I had my era of red hair and no brows, I noticed that when I had meetings, people would be confused by the way I chose to present myself. And this misunderstanding I find between yourself, what you like to wear, and how people interpret that, it feels like a awkward shape, because you are always relating to yourself. You're always giving yourself feedback. How are people receiving this? How am I interpreting this? Am I having a positive experience whilst dressing and looking this way? And then there's the gap between that and then how other people are addressing you as a result of that. And when you are from a marginalized group, your presentation rather, is far more important in getting you where you need to be than people realize. I think it would be idealistic to say that you can dress how you want and you can wear what you want, because I think there are so few people in the world that are able to do that. And I like to use famous examples because we all can see them as a reference. And I think about Doja Cat making pop music for maybe like 6 years of her career. So she was underground and then she blew up and she made pop music, and she was making that music with SZA and Kiss Me More, Woman, that whole album. And she's wearing like bright pink wigs, blonde wigs, like full glam, heavy beat, 2016 Anastasia Beverly Hills level makeup. And then she makes a rap album 2 years ago, shaves her hair, gets spider tattoos all over her body. People are like, oh, she must be a Satanist. And it's like, well, no, she just has enough money now. She can dress and communicate the values that she actually believes in. And I think that's such an interesting case study, because you're able to see, on one hand, she understood the need to conform and to appeal to the masses in order to gain traction, to gain money, to please her record label, to sell albums. And then you see this very marked shift between that and who she is now and the music she makes now. And this music now has garnered a completely different audience, but it feels more true and more representative of the values that Doja Cat actually has. Now, this is pure speculation from me, who is chronically online. It just feels more authentic to her music and her art that she creates. There's something about the way that clothes can change how you feel and how you act. And there's this theory called enclothed recognition or enclothed cognition by Adam and Galinsky, right? They talk about style not being frivolous. It's a tool to shift your internal state. And one of the main factors for me in becoming more confident was, honestly speaking, was being able to buy things that I actually liked, things that I could spend more money on, which relates to most of the series of this podcast, which is essentially like how to build a business, or if you've built a great one, what took your business from good to great. And having access to that meant I could dress how I wanted to communicate to other people that I do care about fashion, I care about presentation, but also I understand shape and I understand how to make my body look flattering. When you are like looking through your wardrobe and choosing what to wear, it's not so much that you're like, oh, I'm just going to put on this t-shirt and jeans on a Saturday because I want to meet my friends. I think it's more about being comfortable, choosing the thing that makes you feel comfortable, but also choosing something that represents where you are mentally. There's been times where there was a time actually when I was doing my master's degree, I wore black for the entire year that I studied. I did not wear any other color, to the point where other people would comment, oh, what shade of black are you going to wear tomorrow? And 2019 to 2020 was an incredibly difficult time for me mentally. And me making that subconscious decision, because that's literally what it was. I didn't even realize till I got to the end and my entire wardrobe was black. It was me trying to take some decision away from choosing my outfits. It was quite a tumultuous time. I was like in between places. I was moving. I was studying and working at the same time. And then COVID started halfway through my studies. So I had to really pivot and think about what it was that I wanted to do next. And in feeling so unsettled mentally and physically and monetarily, I took away the choice of what I want to wear. Like what means that what are the means to which you can do that? That was taken away from me in that period of my life. So when I see how other people are thinking and dressing and asking me, like, how comes you have personal style? I honestly say it's because it's come from being more internally confident and having a level of acceptance of where I am. Sometimes dressing differently makes you feel different. This is like so obvious. Yes, more creative, more powerful, more like you're the person making a choice. But there are moments when you have to conform and dress for others, and that impacts the way that you see yourself, and it impacts you on a more intimate level, I find. Sometimes my neurodivergent friends say this to me, that when they are masking and they mask for a long time, when they go home, they're exhausted because they feel like they've been performing all day, and it essentially uses up too much of their brain power to pretend. And for me, I feel the same way when I have to change my appearance to make things work for my job. I did this for a while. I'm not going to specify when, but I did this for... Most recently, I did it for 6 months. I did 3 things consistently, which I hated. I hated doing all 3 of them. And I got to the end of the 6-month period and I had grown a lot. I got a lot of followers. I performed really well. My engagement was great. And I got to the end and I was like, I actually hate doing this. I hate doing this job. It made me not want to work anymore. And I'm literally self-employed. I got up out of my bed and I said, you work for yourself. So if you hate doing it, do something else. And I use this logic, I think, for a lot of people. And if you get up one day and you're like, I hate doing this, you can just do something else. And having that attitude towards it, I think, influenced what I wore, because it meant I was choosing things which more reflected who I was, and not liking something. Like, what's something I don't like that loads of people like? I don't know. I don't like short dresses. I've never liked them. I hate the way that it makes me feel. I feel like I have to be guarded. I don't like the way it makes weird men interact with me, the weird ones. I don't like that you constantly have to adjust your body, adjust yourself. You can't like sit down properly. You got to cross your legs a certain way. Like, everything about it is deeply overstimulating. So I just don't wear it. But loads of people do. And You may come to a decision about a piece of clothing, but that is influenced by the journey that you went on to get to disliking that clothing. Do you get what I mean? Like, me knowing I don't like a short dress means that if I have to go on set and they show me options, I can say, I don't want to wear that. And I'm confident enough that you're going to find something else because you obviously want me to be here to do this thing. More of us have to be able to say that rather than feeling like we have to wear something. Like, I always see a lot of conversations. This was a period of time where people were upset with the way that India was dressing. They didn't like how she dressed. And I always thought, like, she just likes clothes. Like, she clearly is someone who likes fashion and likes to experiment. But this idea of conforming and belonging to a social group and wearing these clothes, which is supposed to have a deeper meaning that you belong to a social group, was so offensive to some people that this person had dared to try something new that it became an issue when it needn't be one. And when people say it's just clothes or it's not that deep, or I can't believe she sat here talking about clothes for so long, I offer them that as an example that when someone decides not to conform or to do something different, they're met with endless streams of abuse. When I shaved my eyebrows, under every single video, why have you done that? Your forehead looks massive. You look crazy. You're an alien. Are you sick? Does she have alopecia? Like, countless comments. For a stylistic choice, for me being more interested in avant-garde makeup, or for me appreciating drag culture and wanting to experiment more with my makeup style. When you're thinking about your self-presentation, you have to almost make a decision. Is the way you present more important to the way that people perceive you? In some cases, yes. For me, most times, no. So I have to protect the times when I can be myself, when I can dress as myself, my authentic self, because those times are rare. And when I'm working, I have a work uniform. And when I have this uniform, it helps me to mentally differentiate between who I am as a whole being and who I am at work. It helps others to know that when I'm wearing this outfit, you're speaking to Mikai as a creator, Mikai as an entrepreneur. And it lets myself know that whatever conversation I'm engaging with or whatever's happening is happening for Mikai at work. Like, I can go home and take off this outfit and I can return to myself. Some uniform looks like you in your office clothes, you know, in your shirt and your pencil skirt, whatever. Some uniform looks like not wearing your natural hair in spaces where you feel that you will be othered or objectified. There are so many different ways that we choose conformity as a way to move through life easily. I want us to reframe how we are dressing and how this is connected to confidence. I'm going to also digress and say confidence is not something that you just meet it one day. Like, you get a medal, like, here's your confidence medal, now you're confident forever. I've been really confident. I was my most confident at 23 years old, maybe 22. I just finished my master's, or just started rather, and I went out like every single night with my friend, and she worked in music, so we always went to the best parties. And I felt so free and young and youthful and just fresh and amazing and glowy. And I always had my boobs out and I had my nipples pierced. Like, it was just peak youth. And I always think of that time and how daring I was and how much I did not care about what anyone had to say about me ever. And I was writing just some real global feminist theory online all the time, and I would just say what I thought. And the older I got, the more scared, I guess, I became of sharing myself. That was my truest, rawest self. And I kept feeling like I had to put a filter. It was like every day, it was like a thin sheet, like tracing paper. It was like one sheet, another sheet, another sheet. And then I got to the other end and I was wearing black every single day. It was like, oh, something's obviously happened here internally, and this is the way you've decided to show it. I was speaking to my therapist about eating, and I said, I haven't been eating properly for some reason. I don't feel like I have an eating disorder, but why aren't I eating? And it would be like I'd be working and I just wouldn't stop to have lunch. And she was like, when you feel like you don't have control in other areas of your life, food is the thing that most people start to mess with. Like, that's what you can control, that's what you can limit, that's what you can do more of. And that made so much sense. There were so many instances where I wasn't in control or I didn't feel in control, and that manifested itself in the food I ate and the food I didn't eat, rather. And that was also connected to what I wore or what I didn't wear. So start with how you feel and not what is a trend. I've very rarely been a trend-focused person. Not to say I'm immune from trends, because nobody is immune from a trend. Like, if you say that, you just stop lying, don't lie. I like a trend here and there, like Miu Miu's having a great moment right now, but I'm not spending £1,000 on a t-shirt. Like, some people are, not me though. Like, I've got my lifetime eyesight to build up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. But I like Miu Miu. I like some trendy things, but most of my style is informed by references that are really important to me or have been significant in my life. I'm really inspired by my mum. She dresses for comfort and form, but always looks really chic. I am really into what Caribbean women wear to church on Sundays, Seventh-day Adventist, stand up. I really love dancehall culture. I love dancehall queens. I think they are the groundwork for a lot of urban culture that we see today. I'm also really invested in the newly developing Black British culture, which is but 70 years old. There are so many touch points that you can have and that you respect, which influence how you dress. But all of those things I mentioned are also political instances which inform the style that I choose. I think you can see someone's style and know their political leaning. I just think you can tell. I also think you can tell by what type of jewelry they wear or how they decide to do their hair. You can tell a lot about a person by what choices they make. I've been on many a natural hair panel where the vibe is like, if you don't wear your natural hair out, you must hate yourself. And it's like, surely we've come to understand there are more complexities to wearing your natural hair than like, oh, you don't wear it, so it just seems really flattening. And the more you understand yourself and the more you understand your style, the more complex it becomes. And I feel that existing makes it scary for some people to engage with. Like, the deeper you go inside yourself, the harder it is to extrapolate one sentence that means one thing. I am very against a capsule wardrobe. I don't believe that there is such thing as a capsule wardrobe. Honestly, I think you just need more clarity in your life, and you're trying to have that clarity in your clothes. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You want like 3 pairs of jeans and 2 shirts. First of all, they don't even make clothes that good anymore. Like, that will get tore up in the washing machine after 1 month. A capsule wardrobe, no one is that boring. If I meet you and you tell me you're like a capsule wardrobe person, I know we're never going to be friends. Because what the hell do you mean that you just wear 2 tank tops every day? Like, what are you talking about? I'm not hearing that. Style confidence is built like a muscle. It's something you train. It's something you do every day. And it's the same. It's a parallel. You can substitute style here for confidence, self-worth. anything, any skill, you have to practice. And representing yourself accurately comes from doing it a lot, over and over again, doing stuff that doesn't work, that doesn't really look good, and understanding, oh, this doesn't really work for me, but when I do this makes me feel better. What would you wear if you weren't afraid of people judging you? I think that's such a great place to start from. And you can work your way backwards from there. It doesn't have to be this massive, intense change where like you wake up and like dye your hair with leopard print spots or something. When people think about changing themselves or growing, I want to take away the fear from it being this intense, rigorous journey, and it can just be, oh, I'm gonna just try one thing today and then something else really small next week and then the week after that, and that's all it needs to be. A lot of social media is showing people that, oh, like I did this thing, like I did this diet and now I'm like ripped and it's been 2 weeks. Like, first of all, be so for real. Secondly, there's filters. And third, like nothing in life ever works that way. Like all the most fit people, they're always like, oh, I work out. I've been working out for 7 years and I have high protein. Like there's no shortcut. I wish there was a shortcut. There's no shortcut. Even weight loss drugs, it's not going to be the same as the person who was in the gym for 7 years. There's no way around that. The same way there's no way around being more confident or having the best personal style that represents you. There's no shortcut to doing it. Oh my God, I saw a TikTok and they were like, the shortcut is the long way. Like, that's so real. What outfit makes you feel the most like yourself? What outfit makes you feel like you can keep going every day, even when it's really difficult, when you don't feel like it? How can you put something on that tells you, like, you know what, like, this shit is hard, but at least I look good and I can keep going? And whose opinion are you prioritizing over your own expression? Like, whose voice is in your head telling you that you're not good enough, or you can't wear this, or you must restrict yourself in that way? I have thought of who this voice is, and at different points in my life it's been different people, and it's, I suppose, amazing and also amusing who you see as the critic. And people who criticize you are always absolutely terrified of taking a risk and a chance on themselves, and they project that insecurity onto you. And take that and put that into your style. Like, you're brave, you're courageous. I also get a lot of people on Instagram with this personal style question asking me, how are you so brave to try again when things have failed or when things haven't worked out? I suppose I have an undying optimism that things will work out, and I like failing. Actually, I think I've just realized this now as I'm talking to you. I don't mind failing. Like, I learn so much when things don't go to plan, and it always makes the next thing you do so much better. I always think if I didn't do hair, I wouldn't know how to wake up at 3 a.m. and go on set and work for 18 hours. Or if I didn't know how to do that, I wouldn't be able to I've got so many stories of that hair life, and I will not tell them because I'm not going to get cancelled. But I have been through many a thing. We have woken up one day and we're in London, and in 3 hours we have to go to Spain, and then we have to go to Italy. Then there's somebody says, oh, actually it's cancelled, you have to go home, and then you didn't get paid. But I say all of that to say I have been through many things which have been a fail, or which have been almost could have been great, but then were shit. And those things have been good ways of exercising my muscle for resistance and growing and what's that word for when you think about introspectively? That word. And it's taught me introspection. And all of those things have filtered through the outfits that I choose, because I'm someone that is able to think further, create, strategize, and move forward. Style is not shallow. It's not a shallow thing. Don't let people ever belittle you and tell you that it's just clothes, because it just never is. It's I actually think it's the easiest way to express yourself, because you don't even have to say anything. You can just put something on and it says so much about you. More people need to be working on that. Like, think about what you want to wear. I was speaking to someone today and I noticed that they had doubled their top. It was just a black top, and then they wore a black tank top on top of it. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. You know that you're wearing something functional, but you also want it to be stylish. And I know you care about yourself and how you're presenting. And we're in a work environment. It's like, oh, I know you're chic on a Saturday as well. This is all I think about style. This is what I think about style. Really great style people, by the way, is Rianne Finn. She's an amazing style theorist. So if you're more invested in style and styling yourself, I would recommend to check her out. And if you're on this confidence journey and the best way to show it is through your clothes, just start small. Start with one thing and make your way from there. If this episode spoke to you, share it with your friend who is finding their voice again, whether that be through style or just through starting something new, learning how to take up space through what they wear, which I know is a very scary thing to do, but you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. Embrace that feeling and note how you feel after you do it. I think, if anything, we should always be chasing the feeling that comes after you're scared, because it's never a bad thing. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. It helps our community grow and you won't miss an episode. Thank you, as always, for being here. The Linen Service is for women who want more ambition, more truth, more life, all of the above. And I'll see you on the next episode.